podcast about we haven't decided yet, but we're going to keep doing it either way. I'm Colby.
I'm Colonel Mustard, and I killed Professor Plum in the study with the hammer. But you can call me Fee.
Dang. How'd you, why? Do you have some beef?
Yeah. He cut in front of me at the store.
Dang. That's pretty minor. A pretty minor inconvenience, honestly.
Look, he had 11 items in the 10 items or less, and I was just buying a pack of bologna.
Whoa, just bologna, and this man cuts in front of you to purchase. Well, what did his cart look like? Give me a rundown.
Well, he had a bundle of fruit, and in my opinion, I don't know if each individual fruit costs what's it called? A separate item. Like, do you know that? Like, do you know the rules? Because I don't.
Well, I mean, IMO. Think about it this way: if I show up and I'm just buying a bundle of grapes, is that one item or is that 400 items?
Well, what? That's a fair question. See, but bundles of grapes come together. But what are individual apples?
Yeah, I mean that's fair. You've got an argument here, but I'm not. I feel like it's one barcode. It's how many barcodes there are, and for apples, you could just do one barcode.
Well,
yeah, you weigh them and you get one barcode for the whole thing. I
guess that's fair.
Yeah.
So this bitch had some fruit. He had two different sparkling grapes, purple and green.
Okay.
He had some fresh cut meats and cheeses.
Okay.
And he just had a smug look on. We were both in an HEB, but we're I was in my colonel outfit. He was in his professor outfit.
Yeah,
I just don't like him.
You know, I honestly, the more that you're talking about this man, the more I'm getting the kind of vibe that he's a little snooty, and maybe the world's a little better off without him. You know what I'm saying?
See, why should I get arrested?
Yeah, why should I be getting arrested right now while I'm on this podcast? Please, sir, unhand me.
Don't take me away. At least give me an hour.
Yeah, listen. Just let me finish this podcast first.
I violently beat this man with a hammer. You know what's funny? So board games, mostly Monopoly, you have different themes of Monopoly or Trouble or Sorry, but you never see a themed clue.
You know, you said that, and the first thing is that I know that there are themed clues. So, number one, there's a Dungeons and Dragons clue.
For real?
Yeah. There's a Bob's Burgers clue. There's
no way.
The Office clue. Scooby-Doo clue, which makes sense. Harry Potter
I've never
clue,
seen them, so they
Disney
don't exist.
Villains clue. I'm looking at all these clues, Fee. God, you're so wrong.
That tracks, though. Let's see. Themed clue board games.
I'm looking at an Avengers Clue Junior.
Ooh, giant clue edition.
Ooh.
Oh, dude, Star Wars Clue. I'd buy Star Wars Clue and Goosebumps Clue.
Man, I wonder if they if the themes change the rules at all, because if you remember, I of course you remember that I had Lord of the Rings Clue. We never played by the special rules,
it wasn't
but there
Clue.
was
it was Monopoly.
Yeah, sorry, it was Monopoly. Thank you. We never played by the special rules, but there was a rule with the ring that had something to do, and
really, there were special rules.
Yeah, there were. We just never played by them because why? And so I wonder if they have anything different for Star Wars Clue, or if it really is just it was Han Solo with the lightsaber in Cloud City.
Yeah. No, okay, here's a cool Clue edition that I actually really want. Clue Golden Girls edition.
Of course you do.
I've been watching Golden Girls recently. I'm almost done with the series.
And what's the review? How's it going?
Dude, Golden Girls is good. Like, if you watch it, like if you watch it again and have like a passing knowledge of Golden Girls, oh, three women in like their upper or their mid 50s, like they're in their 50s, like just living. It's a slice of life show because like the set piece is always their house, and it's usually them just doing like random shit, like, oh, today the roof collapsed, or the bathroom went out, or we're trying to help the mayor of our town in Florida because they live in Miami.
Of course they do.
Run, or who's Blanche having sex with, or our kids are visiting. Our Sophia, the grandmother, her old folks' house, her old folks' home in the first episode burns down, so she has to move in with them. Our Betty White, Rose, they go to St. Olaf because Betty White was just voted Woman of the Year for St. Olaf.
Wait, is that like a hospital or?
No, St. Olaf is where she came from. St. Olaf, Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
That's
I just
like
you said it as if I'm supposed to be like, oh yeah, of course, St. Olaf.
Well, I thought you had like some kind of passing like knowledge of Golden Girls, but
yeah, I do. I know the four main characters, kind of. I know Blanche, I know Rose, and I know Old, and I know Tall.
Dorothy and Sophia.
There you go.
So Rose Betty White is from St. Olaf, Minnesota, and she is a country bumpkin. Oh, and she's also what are Vikings? Swedish?
Nord.
She also speaks like Nordic and has like these old weird traditions that I'm sure are not true. And like, oh, I'm making a family recipe, Hingendingenbergen. And like the episodes are like Dorothy and Blanche just telling Rose she's an idiot. Like, hey, Rose, stop being a dumbass.
That's a whole episode.
Yeah. Well, basically, like, something happens and Rose like, oh, this reminds me of what happened in St. Olaf. And then she tells like a 3-minute story or like a 2-minute story. And they're like, what does that have to do with this situation? She's like, well, nothing, but I mean, it's similar.
I'm just saying.
Basically. And then there's Blanche, who's like, oh man, I'm from the South. I'm a Southern belle. And I've been fucking since I was 13.
Damn.
And I've always been I've always been the belle of the ball. And everyone calls my daddy Big Daddy. And there's an episode she's like, my brother is like the Mac Daddy of women. And then they find out he's gay.
Hell yeah.
Stuff like that.
So, all right, did you just bring up Golden Girls Clue on like the... Like, it exists.
No, I typed in themed Clue board games, and it was like in the first row of pictures.
Yeah, that's wild, is that I'm looking at the board, and their house, if this is like accurate, if Clue is accurate to like their actual house, they got a big fucking house, dude.
Dude, no shit, they do. Okay, so they got a big house. So you walk in from the outside. They have a huge living room, TV in the middle, couch, 2 chairs,
tiles.
They have They have a backyard with where I think they call it a lattice. I think.
Okay.
Where they go out and they sit and like they chill out in their backyard and they drink or they play cards out there. Then you have from the living room connects to the kitchen, which is pretty big too. And then the kitchen all connects to the garage. And then back into the living room. Living room, there's a back hallway that leads to 4 different bedrooms. There's two bath, 4 bedroom. So you have Rose's room, Sophia's room, Dorothy's room, and Blanche's room. Blanche has her own bathroom in her room. And then the other 3 share the one bathroom in the middle.
God, I love how many details you know. And I am looking at this board, and the board claims, it says The highly detailed board has the complete layout of the ladies' bedrooms, living room, kitchen, patio, bathroom, and garage. And I'm looking at this board, and I don't see a goddamn... Wait, there... Okay, there's the kitchen, and it doesn't connect to the garage. So that's
well, I mean, they wouldn't
inaccurate.
add it to the... They wouldn't put it... they wouldn't put it on the board game accurately. They got to space it out. Because the room... I'm looking at the board right now, and they're not laid out like they are in the show.
But why?
I mean, if you want to be show accurate, but...
Yeah, listen, you know me. All I want is show accurate things.
Well, and then, now, let's say, like, nowadays, you know how board games are getting popular? They make, like, these highly detailed, like, games. Let's get a highly detailed Golden Girls game. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, there's so many, like, white labeled games, where it's like somebody had a concept for a game and then they add 2 things to it and theme it as something else, and they're like, oh, this is the official CSI Miami board game. And you're like, this looks an awful lot like, I don't know, House on Haunted Hill or some shit, but with slightly different mechanics. They're like, it's different. It's no.
Wait, is House on Haunted Hill the main one? Because I thought it was themed after something else.
Man, I don't fucking know, dude.
Okay, so here's some other Golden Girls knowledge, and I know this off the top of my head because I looked it up a while back. But the old one, Sophia, the mother of Tall, Dorothy, the actress is actually 1 year younger than her.
Oh, yeah, I did know that, actually. That's wild.
Estelle Getty, but she wanted the part of Sophia so much she auditioned for it, and also the bag that she's always carrying, like the weave bag that she's always carrying, she bought it from a thrift store, and like is always carrying it around in the show, and like wanted the part. Like she came into audition with that bag.
She showed up and she said, "I bought this bag. You have to give me the part now." And they said, "Damn, you're right."
Yeah, but the actress playing your daughter is younger than you. Who cares?
Yeah, doesn't look like I give a shit.
And all these women are like always having sex, and which is not a bad thing. But even Sophia, the old one, had recently, like, there was an episode where she met up with like an old friend of like her and her dead ex-husband's family, and they had an argument. They made up, and like they were gonna get married, and then all the girls walk in on them, and they just had sex. And I was just like, ew. Well, in the show, they're both like 80. Yeah. So I'm like, ew.
Hey, pardon me.
I know. No. I know she's not 80, but I'm just like, ew.
Listen, I'll be the first to admit that it's not just that, like, it's not that old people having sex is gross, because it is. But it's not that. It's that I think anyone my age or older having sex is gross. Honestly, like, sex is just kind of gross. For real.
Even when you do it?
Dude, no, that doesn't count. I'm extremely good at it, and
you're your own age.
I'm very hygienic, and I know where I've been, and I'm not gross, so that's good.
Well, I mean, I'm very hygienic. Like, I shower every single day, and I brush my teeth, and yeah. Like, I don't believe you. Well, I mean, it's true.
I'm a little sus on that. I don't know about that.
Okay, look, let's see it this way. Like, if I was unhygienic, like, my hair would be all gross and stuff, but I like to maintain my hair. I like to maintain my young sheen. Come on, man.
my youthful sheen, talking like you're a fucking horse.
Look, Colby. Have I changed in looks besides weight from when you met me to now?
No.
Exactly.
I mean, listen, you're not wrong. You can't argue with the results, And I have changed definitely beyond weight. Like, getting afflicted by the old man loses his hair disease very slowly over time.
So, like, this is funny because, like, I have pictures of you back in high school, and that's how I see you. Like, no matter what, like, even now, that's how I like picture you.
Yeah,
honestly,
same.
But like, if I'm looking at you, you have like this big bushy beard, and you have like a dad bod now, and you kind of got that little balding on the back.
Yep.
But I'll never say it. Like,
you just did.
I know, but I'll never say it.
I would never.
I would never
except
say
for
it in
right
malice.
then.
I
would never be mad when I said it. I'm just informing you.
I'm just be like, yo, you're looking your own age, and I'm just like, oh man, not me though. So.
Oh man, that's rough. Can't relate.
Can't relate. I mean, I got my youthful sheen, and my neighing has not even aged a day. I could still count with my hooves.
Man, yeah. Okay. So while I made the joke about the CSI Miami board game, and I'll be goddamned if there isn't one. I don't know why. Horatio Kane is looking at me with his sunglasses. He's not actually wearing sunglasses on the box, but he does have a card with his sunglasses. Yeah, there he is. This is terrible. It's on eBay. You can purchase it currently for $5.50, and I've seen 2 reviews of it. One of them that said, "I don't know why people get so mad about this game. This is a great gateway into the show." And I was like, who plays a board game and then goes, "I should check out the TV show this is based on"?
Yeah, why would you buy a themed game without any knowledge on the show? Wouldn't you want to, I don't know, watch the show to see for yourself?
Yeah, and then be like, "Oh, yeah, I like to do that." Like, okay, so one of my favorite board games that I played when I was younger was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And I liked it a lot, especially like at the time, because it was like the show in that someone asked you a question and you could like you could phone a friend, so you could like get on a phone and call someone like in real life. And that was cool. I liked that.
Just play by yourself?
Yeah, you can probably play by yourself, because they also like, they have like the poll the audience, right? And I guess you can't play by yourself because you need to know if your answers are right. But
well, no, I mean, if you get them wrong, don't they tell you?
No, because it was on cards. This was an analog game. This is not a video game.
No, I thought you were talking about one of those like DVD type games.
Oh yeah, like that came in a cereal box.
Yeah, like the one like that you got Mike for that one Christmas.
Oh yeah, no, no. This was like a board game that like you could, I think you could play by yourself, but like it was. I don't know how it worked. Because like if you did a poll the audience, you could like get the correct result depending on how like far up you were. Yeah, it was wild. It was a cool game.
It came out on the PlayStation 1, so I mean, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course this is a game that makes sense to be a video game, right? But like,
I don't think any TV show game makes sense to be a video game.
Yeah, I mean, it depends, because like TV shows are like, especially Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. The other one that I'm thinking of is Deal or No Deal. Both of them are highly dependent on tension, and there's no tension whenever it's just you in your room. You're like, God, I wish I could win, but there's no host being like, what are you thinking?
This is the right case. You got to pick it. Oh, you got $1. Go fuck yourself. Or no.
Yeah, or
you
you're
got
like
$1 million.
You're like, yeah, it's C. And he's like, are you sure? Final answer. Are you locking it in? And you're like, should I?
It's me, Regis Philbin. I'm here to get your answers.
We're gonna get me. I'm gonna get down to it. I'm gonna solve the moida.
I know you just lost, but let's give this man $1 million anyway. Just as a consolation.
Yeah, why not? Who cares?
He's so handsome. All right, Google the Hasbro Star Wars Edition Clue. It's a fucking layered board. Like, there's first floor and second floor.
Okay.
I don't know how you'd play this.
Let's see. Oh, shit, that's awesome. So you're on the Death Star in a bunch of different rooms. Yeah.
Although I don't know how you'd play it.
you save the galaxy from destruction. So it's not like one person was murdered. Find out who did it, because it's always Darth Vader.
Yeah, I'm saying it's Darth Vader.
Yeah, figure out Darth Vader's next target is like what you got to do.
I was like, if all the pieces are good guys, of course Darth Vader is the bad guy.
Yeah.
Who killed Obi-Wan? Wasn't me.
I wasn't even here at the time. I was off ship.
God. So speaking of games, and this is way off topic, I was talking to my sister today. And she is working at a hotel, right? Mm-hmm. She's working at a hotel as the person at the desk, the person that takes the orders, the room orders.
Yes, like the receptionist.
Yeah,
or the person that like checks people in.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't.
Whatever
know.
you said.
I'm not a hotel aficionado.
I'm not a namist.
We've all established I'm no schooler. But she told me a funny story today of what the housemaids found today.
Okay.
Would you care to guess?
Housemaids found meat. Just a package of steak that was uncooked.
Close. A big black horse dildo and a
butt cool. That's honestly pretty sick.
I was like, did y'all keep it? Like in the Lost and Found? They're like, no, they threw it away. But well, actually, it went missing, and like they were trying to figure out who took it.
Oh, that's funny.
And I was like, which begs the question, like that dildo specifically is expensive. Because I looked it up while we were having a conversation. It's like most of the time they're like $80.
Yeah.
And I was like, if y'all did keep it in the Lost and Found, like, do you think someone would come and be like, hey, I stayed here last night. I left something behind.
Yeah.
And, like,
did you find anything in room 603? Like, as the person at the front desk, you got to be like, yes, but you have to tell me what it is in order for me to give it back to you to make sure that it's actually yours. And they're like,
it's just
fucking never mind, I'm leaving.
And like the reception, like at her foot in the Lost and Found box is like, I'm looking at it right now. Just say it. I'll give it to you.
Give me the color. Give me the color and what it is. That way we know.
And like she's like, I already seen you. I know what you look like. He's like, I know the dildo guy now. I'm like, that's who you're gonna be. Well, I mean, either way, if he took it or she, if they took it, they will always be known as the dildo person and the butt plug person. Like,
yeah, true.
But how do you just walk out with that? Just you go to Lost and Found, you tell them you have it, I guess they wrap it up in something, or maybe no, because they don't give away towels. You just have to cradle it like a baby in your arms and just.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Here's I'm gonna give you a scenario that makes everyone look pretty good in this, right? Okay. So, like one of your coworkers that's just kind of a dipshit.
Yeah.
Imagine he drives a pickup truck, right?
Okay.
Now imagine, this horse dildo thing happens. Now imagine that you get you go, oh, I know how to get rid of this horse dildo and have a pretty fucking good time. So you grab the horse dildo, you put it into a bag, right? You go out in the parking lot and you throw it into the back of his pickup truck. He's probably not going to look back there. No. And then the next thing that you do is you make sure to be like, hey, where did it go? Did someone take this? And whenever people are looking around, you'd be like, oh man, like, I don't know. The customer called and like asked if we could give it back. So like they're on their way. We kind of need to look for it. So like, I don't know, like go out in the parking lot and then just be like, whoa, what's this doing in the back of your truck?
What? Was this you? Were you trying to take...
Jeez! Did you think I wouldn't find it? It's so big! And he's like, what are you talking about?
You gotta say it like out loud, like out in the parking lot. Did you think I wouldn't find this? And then like raise your voice, dildo. You gotta raise it above your head. Did you think I wouldn't
find this 14-inch medical grade silicone black horse dildo? Did you think I wouldn't find it?
With additional cum sack.
Steve Smith, person who lives at 4803 Green Avenue.
Did you think we wouldn't find this out? Yeah. Well, sir, this is for the customer. And then you got to say their name too and where they live.
I'm gonna tell our boss, and everyone's gonna know.
There's gonna be a picture in the lobby that says "dildo thief," and it's just gonna be you.
Man.
Oh shit.
I'm telling you, that's the move. That's one of the only things that that's one of the only ways that everyone gets out of this scot-free, right?
Yeah.
Is like you steal it on purpose to make someone else look bad.
I still think working at hotels is like crazy. It's like crazy, like a crazy place. Like people go and like sleep, and you don't know what they're doing in those rooms, and like especially like at like a shade, like some of the shadier places. Yeah, you got sex workers, or you just got people like getting hotel room for orgies and shit.
Yeah, which is like great, good for them.
No, good for them, but like you have to think like you have to stay somewhere when you go out of town. But then like the trick is don't think about what anyone has done on the bed prior to you being there.
Yeah, this is the first time anyone's ever slept in this bed.
That you just have to tell yourself that. You're like, oh, this bed's comfy and it's nice in here. I can't imagine if someone just had a big orgy,
I've had pretty good luck with hotels. There's only 2 hotels that I had to like. Okay, one that I had to do something about, and it was pretty easy to handle, and the other one that I couldn't do anything about, and it was the worst. So I went to San Antonio.
Of course.
I was staying for a few days for training for work, and I get into the room, and I'm like, great, I'm here. It's like 7 p.m. or it was like 5 or 6, and we were all planning on going out at 7. So it's like, cool, I'll just take off my shoes and watch some TV or whatever. So I take off my shoes, I take off my socks, and I'm like laying, like I'm about to go into bed, right? I have my shoes and socks off. I'm in bed. I'm watching TV. I get up to go to the bathroom, and I notice that the carpet is just moist and kind of sticky. And I was like, oh no! And it's not like it wasn't a spot. It was the whole fucking carpet. So it was like either water was leaking somewhere, or like the AC was super humid or something. But like it was just really uncomfortably wet. So like I put all my stuff back on. I went back down to the front office and was like, hey, can you put me in like a different room? Maybe in like a different hallway. Cause like the carpet was wet. And they were like, oh, okay. Yeah, sure. We are so sorry about that.
Oh, that room. Yes,
oh, you're in the, oh, wow. Yeah, totally. You need to be in another room. Sorry.
And then you're just like, well, what was that room?
Yeah. Hey, no, go back. What was that?
No. You sounded like I wasn't. But what happened?
Yeah. Listen. The cleaners just got done in there, and so it's just like cleaning fluid. It's not like our maids. It was like crime scene cleaners. It's better if you don't know. Just go. Here's the thing to your new room.
Yeah, here's your key to your new room, and breakfast is free on us.
Don't worry about it.
Breakfast is always free. No, but you get an extra breakfast.
Yeah, you get muffin. Hey, we'll give you a call. We'll let you know when breakfast is about to shut down. How about that? That's pretty good.
I had a similar hotel situation. Not in San Antonio at the Red Roof. Like I visited with one of my ex-girlfriends. This is like 5 or so years ago. And we get into the hotel room. We spent It was a red roof. We didn't want to spend a lot, We're just going to sleep. We spent all day there. We're going to sleep for the night, enjoy the day there in San Antonio, and leave. We get in a hotel room. Everything's fine. But the locks are broken. They won't lock, and the door won't stay closed. After we had opened it. And I didn't want to go ask for another room because it was just one person. It was already nighttime. I was like, just prop a table against the door. It's fine. And that's what we did. I moved the table and propped it in front of the door, and I'm like, this'll be fine.
Did it work?
There was no nighttime prowlers, and I slept like a baby.
Wow. Okay, that's great.
But I mean, that's the risk you take when you sleep at a red roof.
Man, yeah. I mean, honestly, I get that. It a lot of things depend on, and it's not just that any red roof is bad or any Best Western or whatever is bad. It honestly really depends on whether or not the person who it's the area, and it's the person who owns or operates or manages the hotel, if they give a shit and are nice and the employees are generally happy to be there, they'll take care of you, and things are pretty well taken care of, and oh, that's broken, yeah, we'll we'll put you in another room, don't worry about it, we'll comp you whatever. There are a lot of places that that'll do nice things, but also you get those that are yeah, it's broken. Well, we'll have maintenance come out at some point. Just go back to your room. Don't worry about it.
Just stay there for the night. We're gonna fix it as soon as you leave. And then as soon as you leave, you're like, man, fuck that guy.
Yeah, really, Jesus. So I had a I went to San Diego. I told you about Comic-Con last time that you get a hotel lottery, right? Yeah. Well, one of the ones that we stayed in, because we stayed in a bunch of hotels. One of them was the Omni downtown, which was right across the street. Omni yeah, it was awesome. We stayed in a place that was a Hawaiian name, and it was a resort hotel, which was more expensive. But again, we didn't pick the hotel; they just gave it to us. And the other one was let me see. It's the it's the Town and Country San Diego. So
nice.
It's not nice, actually. It's not.
It sounds nice.
So the problem with it is that we get there, and this place is on its own right a convention center. It's not the convention center we want to go to, but as a result, it's got a number of different hotels, and they're all under the same branch. So there's yes, excuse you. So there's a big tower, right? There's a 16-story tower where you can stay in that looks like a regular hotel. And then there are these motel blocks, right? That look like a less good but still okay motel that's going on.
You're just gonna be there for sleeping. It's cool.
Yeah, it's fine. And then you have the rooms that we got, which were called the Garden Suites, which when we heard, we were like, oh, that's kind of cool. Garden Suites sounds neat. And it wasn't. And it was very clear that, so we get to these rooms, and imagine if it's not necessarily a big motel. Imagine if it's a series of small, you know how when you pull into an apartment complex and they've got a 2-story building where it's oh yeah, there's 2 apartments on top and 2 apartments on bottom, and they've got 40 of these buildings. That was what this was. It was just those types of rooms. And so we get there, and we're well, really glad that none of us are disabled or anything, because this is up a flight of stairs and there's no elevator. So cool. But again, it's 1 flight of stairs, not a big deal. It's a motel. We're it's fine. The reason why it's called the garden rooms is because all of these buildings surround a small garden in the middle, and garden is a very generous term for it because it is just a fountain and some bushes. So
nice.
If you want fountain bushes, we got them. So we get into bushes. we get into this hotel, and it's just this is a hotel that was decorated by someone's grandma in 1974 and never updated. So the carpets are like this neon or this, it's like this royal blue, very vivid blue, and then the drapes, right? The drapes match the bedspread, and they're both blue with like pink roses floral. And we were like, okay, it's weird, right? Like already it's kind of weird, it's fine, but like already, like we were expecting, I don't know, a hotel that was built in the last 20 years. Definitely not. But we were like, it's fine, not a big deal.
You just kept telling yourself it's fine this whole time. It's fine. It's
fine.
Cool.
It's fucking fine.
It's okay.
So we keep going, we keep doing stuff, and like we're unpacking, and just like more and more weird stuff starts cropping up. Like the TV that they have is still like an old tube TV kind of thing. Man. We were like, oh, okay.
When was this?
And it's in a wardrobe, by the way, with like doors on it, like like someone's furniture. Yeah. We're like, this is like an apartment, and then there's like, it's a bathroom that's way too big because it's got two rooms. It's got a room for you to like do your makeup in that just has a mirror and a bar with no sink, and then it has the toilet room that has the sink in it. So we're like, okay, still kind of weird. It's fine though. Yeah. I get into the bathroom to go pee, and I realize that the window in the bathroom has been open the whole time that we've been in here. And I was like, oh, that's what you want, is like just an open bathroom window in here. That's fine.
Reassuring. That's fine.
And so that makes me be like, all right, we've really got to see how bad this room is. So I start just looking, and behind, like, if you pull any piece of furniture out the smallest bit, it's just hair and dust and old things other people left behind. It's all there. Like these rooms were cleaned very quickly. My best theory is that these are rooms that are closed off most of the year, except when they have a large convention in town. And then they say,
oh no.
Oh yeah, we've got that capacity. And then as soon as the contract is signed, they're like, all right, we're going to get a whole bunch, like, we're going to contract a bunch of like maids and stuff to come in like the week before. And it's, you spend 5 minutes per room and then you move on. We got to keep turning these rooms because we've got a bunch of people coming in.
Just sweep stuff under the couch. It's cool.
Yeah, it's fine. Just sweep it. In fact, if there's dust on the table, just blow, just go. It'll be fine. They won't even know.
They don't even care. They're gonna just put their stuff down and sleep, and they don't even care.
Which, like, okay, and this, I was desperate. So the bed was bad. It was it was one step above a mattress on the ground in that it did have a bed frame, but the bed frame had like no box spring, and it was just held up by 3 metal slats, and the mattress was very clearly old because when you laid on the bed, you could feel those 3 metal slats. And so we slept there the first night, and I woke up and I went, I am pissed off enough that I am willing to spend any amount of money to solve this problem. And so we get on the bus to go to Comic-Con, and the whole time I'm there, like, my wife and their best friend are talking, and I'm basically like, leave me alone. I'm in rage problem solving mode right now. And I Google, and there is not a hotel anywhere in San Diego that has any availability. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I'm willing to pay for an Uber to go to the con every day because I'm like, okay, it's fine. Just something that's relatively close to where we're not spending like $50 on an Uber. And so I look, and I'm like, okay, 4 days, like, because we get there on Wednesday, we're going to be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then leaving Monday. So that's like 5. I'm like, okay, for these 5 days, anywhere. And I finally found one hotel that looked like relatively modern. It was relatively close. It may have even been close to be like close enough to be on the bus line. And I was like, oh, thank God. Like, this is going to be the solution. No more of this hotel. and it was really expensive, right? Fucking... It was $1,000.
Oh,
and I was like, 5 nights, $1,000. It's like, it's $200, which is a lot, right?
Yeah.
But it's not it. I don't have to fucking put up with this anymore, and it's worth it. And so I start getting through the checkout process because I'm like, I'm going to buy this room real quick before anybody else snags it up. And then I'll just let everybody else in the party know that I've made an executive decision and we're not going back home today. And I get to the checkout and it was like, all right, great. Yeah. Your total is going to be $5,500. And I went, wait, it was $1,000 a night? A night?
Oh, Jesus.
Luckily, I didn't hit checkout. Like, yeah, I saw that price and went, that's not right. Let me go back. Like, I must have added 5 rooms, surely. Not 5 nights, 5 rooms. And no, it was just $1,000 a night because they were like, it's Comic-Con. We can charge literally anything we want. I was like,
fuck that noise.
Fuck you guys.
Man, I'm desperate. I'm not that desperate. I'll stay in the rustic spooky room.
And sure enough, we did. And like, that was also the time when we had the fucking weirdest delivery experience ever. Cause we get back from Comic-Con, it's kind of late and we find a pizza place that's open. It's open for another couple hours and they have vegan cheese. And we're like, great, we'll order pizzas. And so we order pizzas on, I think it was DoorDash actually.
Oh, nice.
And, we're watching TV. It's about an hour and we haven't heard an update. And we're like, yeah, where the fuck is this pizza? And so like go into the app and it's just like your pizza's being, your order's being prepared. And
okay.
So we're like, maybe they're just really busy for Comic-Con. That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
And so, we wait another 30 minutes. At this point, it's an hour and a half. And so my wife is like, this is too much. So we sent a message to DoorDash and DoorDash is like, oh yeah, something weird is happening here. We'll take a look into it and we'll let you know. And then they like we're on this chat function and they come back and they're like,
everything's okay.
Your pizza is coming. We are going to refund you, but your pizza is coming. And we were like, okay, well, that's fine. It'll be here in like 2 hours. We don't have to order anything else. It's fine. So like, after 2 hours, we're like, okay, it should be here soon.
Yeah.
And sure enough, like shortly after that conversation, it said like, oh, your pizza's on its way. Your delivery is on its way. We said, okay, great.
Yeah.
And we are watching this man in the app and he's like driving at us, but he keeps like going in different directions and shit. And we're like,
the fuck?
Hey, what the fuck is happening to this guy? 2.5 hours in, he's still not here. And so we contact DoorDash again. We're like, hey, what the fuck is happening? This man has kidnapped our pizza. And they were like, we've already refunded you. We can't do anything else. The pizza shop is closed now. We can't like put in a separate order. We're sorry. And we were like,
beat up the driver? Jeez.
Yeah, go fight him. And so it gets to be 3 hours and 10 minutes.
God.
Is whenever he finally pulls in. And like everybody in the room is just like, I'm too mad. I cannot pick up pizza from this absolute fuck up. So I go and I'm like, I'm curious. I need to see who this man is, what's going on. I get down there and he says probably like he's holding the pizza. He gets the pizza out of the backseat of his car and he's holding it. And as he's giving it to me, and by the way, I grabbed the box and obviously they're room temperature at this point. They're not even hot. As he's handing it to me, I just understood everything because he goes, hey man, sorry about it. I've been having a lot of problems. And I went,
okay.
Oh, okay. Cool. Bye.
What was the problem?
It's just, yeah, what problems were they? I just was like, cool. And he said, yeah, construction around here and, the traffic and, And we looked it up, and this place is 2 hours from or not 2 hours, 2 miles from the hotel. Like,
what the fuck?
There's no excuse for him to have been driving for an hour and a half, and he's like, traffic, construction, sorry.
Yeah, I live about an hour.
I've been
having
a lot of problems.
Yeah, I don't even.
He's like, I thought you were actually down in Mexico. I got halfway to the border. I said, I got to turn around. My bad.
Oh man, at that point I would have just canceled the whole order and just Ubered to the goddamn place. Because 2 hours, God, 45 minutes to an hour is normal. I would have been like, just fuck that. Let's go.
After an hour and a half, that was whenever we realized that we were fucked. Because, like, at this point, it's, it was like 9 p.m. And everywhere around us, Comic-Con, everywhere around us is closed. And we were like, even if we got in a car and even if we went to a restaurant right now, we're fucked, right? Like, we're going to get there with like minutes left to spare if they're even still open. And we just have to pray that the pizza is real and it's actually coming.
Yeah, you just, God, what's that fucking, you've invested, you're already invested, so like you just can't back out.
Yeah. It's the sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah. I was just about to say it's a sunk cost fallacy. So like, you're angry it took that long, but like you already waited it out. You're just gonna eat it because you're like mad and it took long, and you're just man,
and it wasn't good. Like obviously it wasn't good.
Of course it wasn't. Like, but like I learned a lesson. You're like, we're not gonna do that next time.
Mm-hmm. Or it's just, or did we? Because like we order DoorDash all the time now. At the time, we had barely ever ordered delivery food, and this was one of the things where I not unlike my dad, anytime that I have a bad experience with something, I go, it's banned, no more, never again. And so I think I banned DoorDash that time, but we weren't ordering any delivery food, so it was unbanned like around the pandemic. Now I banned Favor. Favor is not welcome in this house.
I tell you what, I drove for Uber like a couple of years ago, and I went to San Antonio to drive Uber, and I did Uber Eats. Like it just came up randomly. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I didn't know how to do it. I just I went and pick up this one lady's food, and I take her to her house, and I drop it off, and I knock on the door, and I'm waiting for her to come. And I'm like, your food's here. And like, she like opens the door. She's like, okay, just leave it there. I'm like, okay, but I'm like, should I hand it to you? She's like, no, leave it there. I'm like, all right then, I guess. I'm like, it was weird to me. Like, food like that is like really weird to me. I guess I'm just used to handing people stuff.
Yeah. Like it makes sense too. Like that's what we do is we're like, pandemic. Don't really want to have contact with strangers, especially someone who's like
pandemic.
Yeah. So that's even weirder is to be like, put the food down where I can see it. Get out of here.
Basically. So I was just like, oh, okay. I'm like, I've never done this. So maybe this is the way.
Yeah.
So
maybe this is normal.
Yeah. I'm like, is this, maybe, I don't know. But, to end us from this rant, let's talk about what we really wanted to talk about today. Yes. Okay. 50 minutes in.
I have been, you said this was going to happen, and it was even longer than you estimated. You estimated that it was going to be 20 minutes of talking about nothing and then eventually getting to what we wanted to talk about. And here we are, 50 minutes in, and we are going to talk about Moon Knight.
El Nighto de Moon de Luna.
I wonder what the Spanish word for night is.
It's probably like Nido.
Nido, yeah, that's it. No, it's not.
La Naita de Luna, probably.
No way. I thought it could have been Caballero, but I was like, that's cowboy, isn't it?
Yeah,
but it is.
Cowboy.
That's what it says.
What is it? Nida? Really?
No, it's Caballero.
Oh. What?
Yeah.
That's not what night means in Spanish.
Listen,
it must be like a rough translation.
El Caballero,
de Luna,
gentleman, knight, sir, cavalier, gent, chevalier.
Okay, fuck. Moon
So
Knight.
I had been
First
super
episode.
excited about Moon Knight. Obviously, since it was first announced, my man Oscar Isaac is in it, and I will watch anything with him in it because he's too hot to not.
No, wait, wasn't he in the Wonder Woman movie? Or is that Pascali?
You're thinking of Pedro Pascal, who also I will see anything that he's in because he's lovely.
But don't see Wonder Woman 2. It's a terrible movie.
Yeah, I heard. I watched a review of Wonder Woman 2 and was like, oh. Because I watched the first one and was like, oh, this is really good. And then the second one came out and I was like, I'll probably stream it at some point. It's a pandemic. We're not doing much. And then,
Never have.
And then I watched a review and they were like, this is the worst waste of time superhero movie that I've ever seen. And I went, oh, good.
Well, now I don't have to watch it.
Nice.
It was really bad, and it was like kind of fucked up because she involuntarily, I guess, rapes a guy.
Yeah. So like, because they're not super specific on it, basically her dead boyfriend inhabits the body of another man,
Possesses.
Right? Yeah, possesses him and basically becomes him, and they have sex. And then her dead boyfriend unpossesses this man. So I don't know. Like, the body didn't consent. The man who used to inhabit the body didn't consent.
And then he wakes up from like this week-long just blankness and is like, oh, this is fine. And then like at the end, she kind of like flirts with him. And I'm like, that doesn't make it better.
Yeah, that's like retroactively being like, hey, I committed a crime on you, but like, here's a little money. It's fine.
And not to mention, like, the whole plot is like, Pascal is like, I'm gonna make it so I'm gonna be a wish stone, and everyone makes their own wishes. So like, and this was brought up by someone. They're like, well, what if like the blind wish to see again, and like they like disabled people wish to not be disabled, or like families wish to not be like in like tatters. Wonder Woman at the end is like, yeah, y'all gotta like take back your wishes because that's just greedy. And I'm just like, come on. I'm like, what the fuck?
Like, not everybody was like, I need a jet ski, my private villa in Cabo, right?
Yeah.
Like, not everybody is like that. And there's some people that have like legitimate issues, and like, can you imagine somebody that like has like the VTuber Ironmouth? She's got like a condition where she doesn't have an immune system, which means that like she can't go outside. She has to take plasma every day. She's like heavily medicated, which like obviously limits what she can do. She in the past year has eaten a bowl of plain white rice, and that was a big accomplishment for her. It was a solid. And imagine Iron Mouse being like, I wish that I didn't have this anymore. And then she's like, yeah, that's great. And then I don't know. I don't know if the final fight was broadcast on TV, but imagine that it was. And she's watching it live going, kill her, kill Wonder Woman, kill Wonder Woman. I want this. I need this.
Kill her. I want you to kill her. Fucking like you'd like it'd have to, because like all these people are just like, well, I don't want to, but like, well, what's at stake here? Just wish, man. Just we'll have to, because he was like trying to set off like a nuclear winter. I think I don't really know, just from what I've seen in reviews, but like that has to suck for like the people that weren't like greedy wishing. Just it's just it's an all around dumb movie. But what's not an all around dumb movie?
So far,
Moon Knight is a TV show, and it's fucking good.
Okay, so spoilers for episode 1 of Moon Knight. I refuse to not spoil this. So basically, we're following a man named Stephen Graham, Oscar Isaac. He works. He's a meek little British man, and he goes to sleep surrounded by sand with his ankle chained up and a piece of tape over his door as if it's gonna do fucking anything, because he has a sleepwalking problem.
I thought that was just so he could know if he went out at night.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But also, the tape doesn't do anything. Like, if he opens the door, he can just put the tape back up. I guess he's assuming that he's sleepwalking.
Well, yeah,
and wouldn't know to put the tape back on.
Yeah, so that's what that is. And then he's also like a museum souvenir seller.
Yeah, he works at the museum gift shop. Yeah, but he knows a lot about ancient Egypt.
Yeah, and you can tell he's into it because like he brings like, oh, there's not all the gods are on this poster, and he's like, I'm really down with Egypt, and
he says it out loud. He says, I'm down with Egypt. I love Egypt. It's my favorite. It's like,
I fucking love Egypt. Oh, pharaohs. Ooh, get me rock
damn.
hard.
You know what? Number one, the Queen. I love England. But number two, Egypt.
But so you know, you find out like he has a sleeping problem. He sleepwalks, so he has all these precautions. But like little does he know, and which we'll find out later how it happened. Because he's possessed by the Moon Knight, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
And
so we're not okay. So we don't know what Mark is yet. Like, is Mark like this other persona that is Moon Knight? Is Moon Knight like a set of powers? Is it like is it a persona? Because is it like Venom? You know,
because he speaks English. Like, not English, British English, but Mark speaks American English.
Yeah, Mark speaks American English, and then there's also this very deep, otherworldly kind of like
this
hey,
voice.
You dipshit, don't do that.
Oh, the dumbass is awake. Go back to sleep, dumbass.
Piss. The ruiner's here.
The ruiner of everything. Like, so, like, you see him going to work, right? And everyone's like, man, you're fucking bumping lately. And this girl that he had the hots for is like, yeah, we're going to have fun on our date. And he's like, oh, date? He's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, the best steaks in England. And like, he's like, on Friday. And then like, you see him do his whole sleep setup thing again. Then he falls asleep and wakes up in what I can only assume is like, I thought it was the Netherlands at first, but I guess...
Yeah, I think it's a field in, like, Norway or something.
Yeah, getting chased by these men with guns.
Mm-hmm.
and he's just like, what the fuck? And, like, they're chasing him, and he goes into, like, a little town where he meets, like, this strange guy with scales, a tattoo of scales on his arm, and everyone is, like, worshiping him. And people are like, oh, you know, I've been good. Like, he's Santa Claus. He's evil Santa Claus. He's like, because they're like, oh, we've been good. And he's like, well, that's for the scales to, you know, see. And then if the scales weigh that if you're good, then I guess you're blessed. And if you're bad, which an old woman came to him and she's been bad and the scales turn red and then she instantly just fucking dies.
Yeah, she's like, I've been very good, and he's like, I'm sure you have. Oh, I believe you, and then she fucking dies.
and then the bad guys are like, sir, the guy ran into town, and you know we don't know where he's at, and then he like says some weird, I guess, phrase, and everyone bows to him except for fucking Pedro. And our Steven.
Except for Pedro, you mean Oscar Isaac?
Yes, I don't know. I'm saying Pedro Pascal. Steven, and he's like, oh shit, and then they fucking catch him. And you don't see like Moon Knight or like know anything about him until like the end of the show. But like, Steven has to be asleep for him to take over his body and like exude his powers. Right?
Yeah, which is why I think that it's Mark. I think there are three separate entities because Mark, like, whenever Steven goes to sleep in the village, and he basically he's in a tight spot. He goes to sleep. He wakes up. All of the armed people around him are on the ground, and he has a gun in his hand.
And he's covered in blood.
And he's covered in blood. And I don't think Moon Knight did that. I
think he did. Because, like...
Do you think that, like, he did the whole fucking costume transformation as well?
Dude, that's what I was wondering.
Like, nobody was like, what the fuck was that?
I don't think the costume transformation happened at those points, only because he didn't give full control over to Mark like he did at the end. So, like, I think he just took over his body, but he didn't go through the full transformation. Because he wasn't fully in control. That makes sense. So, like, because he just kind of just passes out. Like, he's like, oh, shit, what's going on? And then his eyes roll back, and then he passes out for, like, a few minutes. And then wakes up, and shit's happening. The guy's like, oh, fucking got control of the body again. And,
Yep.
You know, then you have this long, elaborate chase, which is fucking great, where he steals, like, a cupcake van, and then they're all chasing him, like, on the side of a hill, and he fucking shoots a guy in the head. Crazy. Mm-hmm. Like, that whole scene is good.
Well, and it's really good, too, because, like, they don't show you him shooting him in the head. What they show you is that Steven is like putting cupcakes in this man's face and trying desperately to fight him off like a fucking meek cartoon ass wimp. And then he blacks out and then he wakes up, man dead, gun hand, right?
Yeah, like 3 minutes, like he blacks out, 3 minutes pass, and then he's just like, fuck, what's going on? And then, you know, shit's going, and like, it's like, I think one of my favorite part is like the car breaks and then like he throws the gun. He's like, did he just throw the gun?
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, he gets away and all this shit goes down. He goes back to England and he realizes that, oh shit, like 5 days have passed and I don't know what the hell I've been up to. And like, he's freaking out.
Yeah. So he's like, he wakes up in his bed and he's like, oh, it was a dream. Ha ha. Woo! And then he goes about his daily life. The fish has grown back its fin, right? Yeah. He goes to the like he has this fish that only has one fin. He goes back to the pet shop and they're like, you were just in here, and he's like, what? Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
And then that night he goes to the steak restaurant, which, by the way,
he's a vegan, by the way.
Yes, he's a vegan, and like initially his boss was like, "What do vegans even eat at a steakhouse?" And he's like, "Oh, sure, they got steak and sides,
salads and bread,
or salad and bread, salad and bread," which is true. Like the amount of times that that my wife has been offered, "Oh yeah, we could go to the Brazilian steakhouse. You'll love it. They've got this great salad bar." It's very good. But so yeah, he's at this date and the waiter's like, we still expecting one more? And he's like, yeah. So he calls her and she's like, you got a lot of nerve calling me. And he's like, what? I'm at the restaurant. Hey, I'm waiting. I'm at the restaurant. Where
Friday,
are you?
best steak.
Friday steak restaurant. Hi. And she's like, it's Sunday, dipshit, effectively. And then it's one of my favorite scenes in this first episode is like the waiter comes back over and he's like, what day is it? And the waiter's like, oh, it's Sunday. And he goes, no. Like the way in which he says no is just so heartfelt. I'm like, no. Oh. And then the other favorite scene in this is when he tries to order a steak and doesn't know how to order one because he's vegan. And he's like, y'all have the steak? And they're like, what cut? And he's like,
the best cut. The good.
The one, you know, the one with the steak. And he's like, you want a center cut? And he's like, yeah. And they're like, how do you want it cooked? Yeah, good, very good.
Yeah, well
they're
done.
Like,
okay.
They're like, well done. Yeah, that sounds delicious.
He's just crying, just holding back tears.
It's so good. But then, yeah, he in his apartment, he finds this phone and it's this woman that is calling him Mark.
Yeah.
And then the guy from the village shows up at his fucking job. It turns out that he's like, oh, yeah, you actually are a gift shop guy. That's fucking weird.
Yeah. And well, before that, he starts. Okay, so before that scene, he starts hearing the voices again, and then the mirror is like his reflection is like fucking is just like, stop looking around and I'm over here, and then like his mirror's not moving with him and he's like freaking out. Then like he tries to escape his hotel room because it's like shaking, and then this big fucking death god with like a bird skull is in the hallway and he's freaking out. And then
it's fucking sick.
Dude, yeah, it's fucking sick, dude. And then, like, he goes to... I don't know why he even puts up with going back to work without trying to figure out what's going on. Oh, he also...
Yeah, he just goes. Yeah. And doesn't stop.
Yeah. Also, he finds this scarab in his pocket when he's in Holland. And the bad guys are after it. Don't forget that, so...
Yep.
That's where his powers are presumably coming from. Or it has powers or something's wrong with it. And so he goes to his job and he's trying to get this fucking security guard to be like, someone's following me. He's like, I know it's following you. And like, sure enough, security guard is following it, or old man is following him, and like he tries to get people's attention, but then everyone reveals they're also working with the scales people.
The scale man.
And then like he threatens him and he tells him like the backstory of Queen what's her name and who he's working for. And then like he runs, like Steve runs away and he's like, let him go tonight, you know, he'll get it. And then he goes the whole day until night just working after that, like nothing happened.
Yeah. His life has been threatened. He knows that he's surrounded by people. He's unsafe, but now just continues working because he's Steven, and that's what Steven does.
And at night he's like the last one there. He hears like barking or like growling, and he thinks it's like a dog, or I guess he wants to think it's a dog. And like then this big fucking Egyptian jackal monster comes out. And he's just, like, running away from it until he finds himself in a bathroom covered in mirrors and, like, he has it locked. And he's running for his life. And that's when Mark comes out and he's in the mirror finally. And then you see him and he's just like, Steve, you gotta relinquish the body to me. You gotta hand over it to me. And Steven's like, this isn't real. And he's like, yeah, it is. Mark's like, yeah, it's real.
He's like, it is. And we're going to die if you don't hand this over. So just hand the body over to me. And he's like, Steven, I can get us out of this. Steven.
Steven, you got to let me have it. And then like, he finally relinquishes possession over to Mark. And then that's when you get the cool Moon Knight outfit. Like the classic one from like the comics, the fucking whole one-piece suit with the cape, and then the jackal breaks in at the last minute, and then fucking you hear like tussling in the bathroom, and then you see like the jackal trying to escape, and then gets pulled back in, and then reveals to Moon Knight beating the shit out of him like to death. And then like he stands up and looks at the camera, and then fade to credits.
Yeah, he walks at the camera. Very fucking cool. Like, excellent first episode. Great setup of the initial character of like, to be like, this is a man that has like these. There's more than one person inside of this body, and
we don't know anything yet. We don't know
anything.
We just know there's Mark. We don't even know who the deity is. I mean, if you've read the comics, you know who it is. But I'm not going to pretend I do. I've never read any Moon Knights. I've only seen him in other comics. So I don't this is new to me. I can't tell you if it's accurate or not. I know Moon Knight himself is a crazy motherfucker. Like, he's mega crazy. He's unhinged and crazy. But that's all I could tell you about Moon Knight.
And there's some other important details here. It's so painfully sad that Steven is calling his mom, but his mom never answers, so he's just leaving her voicemails.
Oh yeah, and then he obviously has no friends, so he talks to a living statue.
Yes.
He eats his lunch with the living statue, and he's like, all right, friend, this is what happened at work today. And the living statue is just doing his thing.
Yeah, no reaction, says nothing.
And he's just there, just spilling his fucking guts. And then he leaves him some money and some food. And he's like, same time tomorrow night, right? Fucking so sad.
Which, like, and he seems like a really nice guy. But man, he's the other sad thing I saw that someone pointed out is he's got some postcards from his mom. And someone was like, unless I'm mistaken, those are the postcards from the gift shop he works at. So that means that, like, Mark is getting those gift cards and then writing him letters from his mom and probably keeping tabs on what Steven is doing by, like, listening to the voicemails that Steven is leaving his mom or, stuff like that. It's I'm super excited for the next episode.
There are only 6 episodes from what I read. So
yeah, I think this is a 6-episode one, and like because if I'm not mistaken, WandaVision was 8, right?
I didn't even finish WandaVision. It just didn't appeal to me.
Man, WandaVision is so fucking good.
But
episode 9. There's 9 episodes. Loki was also very good.
But I hope they just incorporate Moon Knight into the Marvel movies. And then I hope he gets a season 2, like, because he's so fucking sick, dude.
Yeah, I'm excited because, like, they haven't had a big crossover event yet, and like we're positive that they're going to, right? Like, Multiverse of Madness is, it's Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange, and that's something. And then you've got, like, obviously the Spider-Man movie that just had a bunch of other characters in it, but those weren't like MCU type characters. And so, like, so far this particular phase, I don't know what it's building up to. Like, I think we're building up to, like, we're going to go kill Kang the Destroyer and, like, either unite the multiverse or free it or whatever.
I just don't know what they're going to do after, because, like, they've been setting up for this multiverse and Kang for like a year now. With Marvel What If, which is also canon to the MCU, Loki meeting Kang, and then him getting, like, fucking destroyed, Spider-Man and his dimensions, now Doctor Strange with the multiverse. This is all building up to just multiverse fucking fighting Kang. Although, after that, I don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah, so to me, this is the same problem that Smash Brothers is going to have. I say that because, like, Smash Brothers went balls to the wall and they said every Smash Brothers character plus double the amount of characters are going to be in the Smash Brothers. Like, Steve from Minecraft is in here. We've got Mega Man. We've got Ryu. We've got, like, we've got Sora. We've got characters that fucking people have been asking for years that are in this game, right? What happens in the next Smash Brothers?
They just,
like, do they just come out with the regular roster and then be like, I don't know, I guess we'll do some new characters?
They're just gonna pull a Smash Brothers Ultimate. They just have to call it Ultimate 2, because if they do anything less than what they did this time, it's gonna be like a fail unless they have a big elaborate story and, like, story.
Yeah, or some new mechanic, or like I can't even fathom what they could do. This is why, like, if I was Sakurai, right, like, I would put this game out and then fucking quit and be like, I'm never making another Smash Brothers again. I don't want to be the person who ruined Smash Brothers. Bye. And I think that's the same thing with fucking Marvel, right? So we're building up to Kang. We're building up to multiverse. So, like, what this opens up is, like, here in who knows how many years, like, it feels like they're dragging this one out. So, like, it could be another 3 years before we actually get to, like, the big team up movie and the big culmination of this phase, the next Avengers or whatever, like, new Avengers or some shit. And, like, it feels like they're going to keep building up, and then eventually they're going to have that big crossover event. There's going to be something to save the multiverse. There's going to be a big threat. There's going to be, a lot of loss of people or whatever. And then, it's going to be, fucking Gator Loki is back. Fucking,
he's getting his own show, I heard.
Oh, God.
Or no, he's getting his own comic. I'm sorry.
Comic is fine. Show's not. But
I'd watch it.
Like, Carter, right? Like Captain Carter. right? She's probably going to be there. Like a bunch of like what if stuff is probably going to be there. I wouldn't be surprised if other Spider-Man are there. I wouldn't be surprised if like they basically pulled in everybody for these like three. I would imagine they're going to make 3 movies, right? Like one movie to set up the premise and start fighting, another movie to be like what Empire Strikes Back, where like by the end of the movie you've lost all hope, like we have just a small group of heroes that can maybe come back and try to save the day, and then at the end everybody comes back, whoops ass, and we win, right? And then after that, I honestly think the only thing that they're going to be able to do at the end of this phase is to wipe it, is to be like, we're going to save the multiverse by wiping it back to 0. And then they get to retell stories, right? Hard reboot of the whole thing. They've been doing, God, when did Iron Man come out? 20 years, 15 years ago?
Yeah, no shit.
Iron Man 1? 2008. So that's like, by the time this thing ends, it could be 20 years since the MCU started. That's not a bad place to do a reboot. Like, how many times have we fucking rebooted Batman over the years? How many times have we rebooted Spider-Man over the years? Like, people would probably be okay with that, especially if they, like, picked different people to, like, start things off and, like, oh, this is going to be the new Iron Man. This is the new whatever.
Include characters that weren't in, like, the original lineup, like, make War Machine a more, like, centric character. The Punisher again. Jesus. Like, Venom is, like, there. Spider-Man is, like, dead center.
Venom is actually there.
They include the X-Men. That's what they need to do.
Like maybe they just start, like, maybe they start at X-Men and go from there. I don't know.
That's how, like, it all started.
It's just... It's hard to say because they've got, like... The expectation is so... high, right? Because Avengers, like Marvel MCU has been a masterclass on how to do
big cinematic movies.
Yes, exactly. On how to do like cinematic superhero movies that are lighthearted enough that you can watch them, stuff like that, right?
Big
like
set pieces and build
exactly.
And hype.
Yes. Things that synergize, things that like build on each other. So it's like, what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do from there? Do you do a different formula?
Yeah, they've essentially built an empire where, well, you have to watch the shows to get why some characters are in a movie, but then you don't have to really. But if like you want to understand what some stuff is happening in the background and why some characters are in a movie, but you didn't see them before, you have to watch the shows and you got to watch like some of the cartoons and you got to tune into some of the stuff, like. After all this goes down in like 3 years or so, they're going to have to like hard reboot and build it again from the bottom. And they could do their own shows again, but they're going to have to like start from scratch. And I wouldn't say starting right when they end it, like they give it like another 5 years and then they start another MCU.
Yeah, I hope they do because like, honestly, I feel like a lot of people got really over superhero movies at the end of the Avengers. And then they were like, okay, so how do we pivot and like make sure that things stay interesting? Well, we do TV shows. We do really interesting TV shows.
Really grounded TV shows that aren't like real big CGI battles. It's just these gritty no powered superheroes that are fighting in the streets and fighting like a syndicate in the background. They have nothing to do with the movies, but they show up sometimes.
Yes. Yeah. And like, I don't know, you get to the point where like you've kind of done everything and it's time to like try it again. I don't know that it'll ever be the same. You know what I mean? Like,
it's not going to be the
same. I don't know that it'll be this successful when it reboots.
Yeah, it won't.
I'm talking as if I know it's going to reboot still.
I mean, come on. They like to make money and they're not just going to sit on these IPs. Of course, they're going to make their own stuff after it's all gone down. It would be foolish to continue making phases like of just what, because then people are just going to get tired of it. Like, I'm already almost tired of it.
Yeah. Yeah, same. I mean, we're at the point where like things have to be new enough for me to want to get in there. You know what I mean? Like,
stop introducing new characters to this already old story. Finish this story, and then restart the MCU with a hard reboot after this. Like the universe got reset, or even starting a new universe and be like, this is how it is in this universe, and now we're having the Marvel fucking offshoot universe, and these are all the characters. Make the movies, make the shows, and hopefully it'll be fresh.
Yeah, that's another thing that you could do, is to be like, to let this universe end on like a nice note. You just, instead of wiping the universe, you just say that like, I don't know, a handful of heroes like Loki and Miss Marvel. I'm just picking random. Like Moon Knight, right? Like 3 or 4 of these heroes are, you remember the end of like Kingdom Hearts 1 where it was like, we got to close the door to Kingdom Hearts, right? It's like that, where like one of them is trapped on the other side of the universe and then everyone else is on the other. And they're like, we saved our home universe, but now we're stuck in this new one. And then you get to like explore this new universe through the eyes of characters that you know. And that's kind of an interesting angle. But
and then simple and clean plays. And
then simple and clean plays. Yes, exactly. Thank you.
Oh my God. Still one of the saddest.
God.
Just still one of the saddest. I always get really emotional when at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1. And it's
so good.
It's because of the music. It hits so correct.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes me feel them emotions.
Yeah, and it's like the song itself is really good, but the context of like hearing that whenever like Kyrie's like,
I'll come back for you someday. I promise.
Yeah. Sora's like, I promise. You're like, you do promise, Sora.
And then as soon as like their fingers just let go of each other, the song kicks into high gear, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, and you can't hear Kyrie anymore, and she's like yelling, and Sora's like, I can't hear you. What?
Yeah. And then there's and then it turns into MCU, where there's a whole bunch of different games on different consoles that you have to play in order to.
That was what I was going to bring up. Like if you play Kingdom Hearts 1, you're good. If you skip Chain of Memories and go to Kingdom Hearts 2, you've lost a lot of context, but you can squeak by.
Yeah.
If you go from Kingdom Hearts 2 to Kingdom Hearts 3, you're fucked. You're absolutely decimated.
Yeah.
You don't know anybody.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. You're going to go into part 3 being like, what the fuck are all these people? Why are there so many clones of Riku? Why are there so many Xehanorts? Why are
there so many Xehanorts? Why are there so many clones of Roxas? Why are there are you telling me that Organization 13 actually had 14 members? Okay, cool.
And now all of Organization 13 is just clones of Xehanort? Now now all the nobodies are good guys now? Fucking
yeah, exactly. Oh wow, all the nobodies are like not nobodies anymore. Wow, how'd that happen? Yeah. I don't know.
Where the hell's this key blade graveyard from? Huh? Who's Xehanort? Like who's the bald Xehanort? Where did he come from? Well, you have to play Birth by Sleep to get that. And if you want to know even before that happened, you have to play the mobile game that only came out in Japan and recently, a couple of years back, came out in America.
Yeah, like. At the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, it's like, oh, why is Zigbar walking around with a big chest? And he's like, oh, Xehanort's done his part. Now it's time for the next phase. I've got this big chest. And you're like, why is Zigbar anything? But the thing is, you don't know that it's not actually, it's that Zigbar is someone else who's historically relevant if you only play the mobile game.
And you'll understand why there's other Rikus if you played 365 over 2 and Dream Drop Distance and Recoded. It's...
And you'll figure out why Roxas and Ventus are basically the same person, and you'll figure out what the Keyblade, but key spelled with a weird X, you'll figure out what that is if you play Birth by Sleep.
And you'll figure out that there was another Organization 13 member, which makes the 14, which is Remnants of Sora, but is a girl, also is there. And
yeah, but also she manifests as different things to different people.
Yeah.
So like to Zigbar, which this is also telling because part of the story, she looked like Sora, but different a little bit.
Yeah. and then Axel's real name is Leia, and you're like, oh, that's stupid, and it's just crazy. It's so fucking wacky. And also they cram Disney movies in there just for no reason.
Yeah, and also just like, I don't know, Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 are lovely, and there's some of my favorite games. Birth by Sleep is also excellent, and the rest of the games are not great, but I'm still gonna play all of them.
You have to figure out who Terra is, and if you're playing part 3, then you got to figure out who Aqua and what Aqua is doing relevant to the story by playing Birth by Sleep, because she's a big part of it too now.
Mm-hmm.
She's a Keyblade master.
Yeah,
who's in the dark side.
And Axel has a Keyblade. Why does he have a Keyblade? Well, you should have played Dream Dot Distance. You would have seen.
Yeah, and now
his name's not even Axel anymore.
Yeah, it's Leah.
You didn't know that, did you?
And now Kyrie's a Keyblade master in training.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you're like, what the? All these people get Keyblades, but Goofy and Donald can't get one.
Yeah, they can't get one. And also, like, at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 7, they were like, oh, you wield the Keyblade.
Yeah.
Man, fucking, who was it? It was, they called him Leon. Squall.
Yeah.
Squall that, like, grabbed the Keyblade and was like, yeah, if it would be much better in my hands, but, like, I can't wield it. And then fucking Sora zaps it back to his hand. And you're
only the Keyblade.
So there's, like, one Keyblade.
Yeah, only the Keyblade chooses who it wants to be with. And I guess it's you. And, like, this is what I'm saying. When they started Kingdom Hearts 1, they didn't know it was going to be as big a hit as it was, and they didn't think it was going to go anywhere. So they didn't write the rest of the story, and they wrote it as they were going.
Yeah, it really does feel like...
No one thought that a hybrid Final Fantasy with Disney would ever be as big as it is.
Yeah, and the reason, like, okay, so Kingdom Hearts has gotten to the place where it is, and that's what makes people nervous about Final Fantasy VII Remake, because, Nomura is in charge of that as well.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he's... Kingdom Hearts is his baby.
Yeah.
And we saw what happened whenever he got all the power that he wanted. No one man should have all that power. And that's him. It's him.
He did what Willy Wonka, like, warned us about. At the end, he's like, you know what happened to the man who got everything he wanted? Or what did he say? Fuck. It's a stupid saying. It doesn't make any sense. You know what happened to the man that wanted everything? Like, all the power? Well, he got it. It's a stupid Willy Wonka saying. I saw it the other day. It doesn't make any sense.
And you're like, oh, I see what you're trying to do there, but that's not, like, a threat.
And it's really funny because, like, the Final Fantasy VII Remake, it's really good, but they kind of Kingdom Hearts it at the end by being like, oh, this game is all a memory. And you're like, no, don't do that.
Yeah. There's one, God, was it Recoded that starts off with Jiminy being like, there's a note in my journal, and it says, help stop their suffering. You're like, what?
It's like, save nominee. And you're like, what? You're like, who the fuck?
Huh?
But, like, 7 Remake is just like, oh my God, like, I was hearing someone talk about it, and they're just like, what made Sephiroth this, like, looming, like, bad figure in the original was you never saw him. Like, you only saw peaks of him, and he would show up and he would fuck people's shit up and then leave, and shit would happen. He would just do that. But then, like,
you would show up in the aftermath of, like, things that they're like, oh yeah, a guy in a black cape came in, fucked up everything. Oh, President Shinra stabbed through, big sword. Wow, spooky man.
Yeah, but in the remake, he's just like, it was I, Sephiroth, I did this. And, like, he's killing everyone, he's just walking through, and then you have the big boss fight with him at the end of the game, and you're just like, well, that didn't happen. You're like, and then you start... Aerith is like, oh, this is all memories of what happened, and maybe we could change it. I'm like, no, don't change it. Just
yeah, do change it though. Like I'm totally down for that. I love that idea, but like I think you're right that they didn't make him enough like Jaws, because like you do see him within the first like 2 hours. He has like a fucking conversation where he's like, "Hello, Cloud," and you're like,
"Remember me from the first movie?" Fucking, fucking, don't fucking Sephiroth.
But the thing that makes it kind of work for me is that you can't tell what his motivations are, because there's like. He's like, "Oh, I don't know what I'd do if something happened to you, Cloud. You're very important to me. Our fates are intertwined."
It almost sounds like
Cloud's
Sephiroth
like, "Shut up, stupid!"
It almost sounds like Sephiroth is like a scorned lover of Cloud.
Yes. Sephiroth is like, "I've been trying to fuck you every iteration of this timeline, and it never works, but god damn it, it's gonna work this time.
This time it'll work. Shall I give you despair?" Oh
yeah, it's crazy that like we're going through Final Fantasy VII again, and like the first one, I loved the remake. I thought it was awesome. I'm super excited for the next one. I'm never not going to be nervous that it's going to turn into fucking Kingdom Hearts. Like the craziest thing to me, my son may be in high school when the last one of these games come out, and I am terrified that he's going to be going to high school and be like, "Oh yeah, Final Fantasy VII Remake is coming out. You played that whenever I was young. Like, are you excited about the last game?" And I go, "No, I don't think I'm going to play it. It's fine." Like, when a new Final Fantasy comes out, like Final Fantasy 13, I was like, "Oh, that's going to be great." And then I bought it and was like, "Eh." And then Final Fantasy 15 came out, and I was like, "That's going to be probably not that good, but I'll buy it anyway." And I did, and was like, "It's not that good."
You're like, "Well, shit. I didn't set my bar high."
Yeah, and I'm worried that Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to be like that. We're like, we're 4 years in. We just got off the ship from Junon, and fucking we've killed Sephiroth 12 times at this point, and we're in like different multiverse timelines. We have like female Cloud from another timeline is in our party now.
Several consoles have come out.
Just yeah, totally. And they keep re-releasing Final Fantasy VII Part 1 and 2 as like, oh, this is a bundled edition. This is Final Fantasy VII 1.5 HD remix.
Yeah. And then
with 8K upscale.
You're gonna have like that Star Wars reaction. Your son's gonna come up to you and be like, "Final Fantasy VII Remake, didn't you play that? When I was like a baby," and you'll be like, "That's a name I haven't heard in a long time."
Fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi, that shit. In a long time.
Fucking 50 years old, just waiting for this goddamn game to end so I can die.
We are at time. We talked a little bit about Moon Knight. We're both very excited about it. I'm excited.
There's only one episode. You can't really like. We're only just really excited because it was good.
Yeah, it's hard to figure out, what's going to happen next, and it's hard to figure out like what like where the show is going to go.
Yeah. It only get crazier.
Yeah, it's only going to get wilder, and I'm so fucking pumped. All the artwork and stuff looks great in this show. So,
the thumbnail,
it's all great.
The thumbnail shows him in like an alternative costume, like from the comics, in the white tuxedo and like the burlap mask. So like it looks tight. Like for the next 5 weeks, we're probably gonna intersplice our episodes with talks of Moon Knight.
Yeah, honestly, it's probably gonna... Moon Knight update. We'll have to come up with an audio stinger. It's Moon Knight update.
Dude, yeah, that'd be fucking Moon Knight, fucking. And then like at the end of it all, we're just gonna have one big long Moon Knight episode going over the whole like fucking the series.
People are gonna be like, "God, I don't want to hear about fucking Moon Knight."
If it's not Star Wars or Cowboy Bebop, it's Moon Knight. Or the Batman.
I can't escape these shows.
But damn it, I'm gonna listen to them because they're handsome.
Yep. You better. You know it's true.
5 stars, dude.
5 stars.
5 stars and a big ass thumb. I want you to get all your superheroes, just put them in one big room and go get them.
Go get him!
5 stars, baby. YouTube, Spotify, get him!
Get him! Get him! Get him, Moon Knight!
Whoa, Mark!
I'm the Moon Knight.
It was me all along. I'm the Moon Knight. In fact, I thought of it first. He was gonna be Star Knight.
Luke Star Knight. I thought it was gonna be a great series, but you know.
Oh well, Marvel beat me to the punch. What can I say? But now I work for them. Oh well. George.
Oh, you know what? It's fine. I've invented every piece of literature that's ever come out. Did you know that? Every movie I came up with first.
I wrote every single the first movie to ever exist. George Lucas. Day in the life, and it was just me taking a dump.
You know the video of the train coming at the screen? That was me. I was driving the train.
I was but a boy. I was 20 years old at the time, shooting barrels with my 2 pistols. Go get him, bye!